Hello, good morning. So, welcome to the first official video of Ellie Grooves. So my name is Sydney, but I also go by Ellie Grooves. And yeah, welcome. So for today's video, I was thinking about let's start with some of the basics and go from there. I know a few people that follow me, they were interested in learning about crochet and a little bit more. So I was thinking, what if we do a quick little tutorial about some of the basic stitches. After we learn some of the basic stitches, then we can see what kind of projects we can make with that. So that way you can get started on your crochet journey. Without any further ado, let's get started with the video.
To start off, let's look at the materials we'll need for this project. There are different types and styles of yarn to choose from, but as a beginner, I recommend a size 4 or 5 yarn, which is the most common size you'll see in stores. Big Twist and Super Saver are both really good, cheap brands to start with. Now, looking at the label on your yarn, you might see a version of this chart. This estimates the amount of skeins, or balls of yarn, you will need for whatever project you're working on. So for example, a hat might be 1 skein, and a sweater might be 3. This is very helpful because you need to buy all of your yarn all at once because the dye lots will vary from lot to lot. So the color will be off just slightly sometimes, and it'll be very, very noticeable whenever they're side to side. Going down to these 3 boxes below, this is going to show you the weight of the yarn, so that's that 4 or 5 that I was recommending before, and this is your hook size for crochet, and for the X one is going to be knitting. And this helps you figure out what kind of hook to use, so that way you have the proper gauging that you need for whatever project you're doing. So for this project, I'm going to be using an N/8 or a 5mm hook. To start your project, we're first going to create a slip stitch. So how we're going to do that is we're going to take the thread in between our fingers and pinch it like this. Then we're going to loop it around, so we get this loop right here, and we're going to twist the 2 ends twice, so that way we get the short piece back over in between our thumb and pinky finger. Then you're going to grab the long end and pull it through that loop that was in your fingers, like so. And you're going to pull it very, very tight. Once you have the slip stitch made, you should be able to pull the long end to lengthen or shorten the loop. And there you have it. Congratulations, you've just made a slip knot. So now let's look at a slip stitch, which gets your project started. Alright, so starting off your project, you're going to insert your crochet hook through the loop and then make it nice and snug but not crazy tight. You're going to grab your yarn and you're going to yarn over, which is pull the yarn around, loop the yarn around the hook and pull through. I'm going to do one more time slower. Loop the yarn around the hook and have the hook pull it through the open loop. And there you go, you started a slip stitch. Don't make these too tight, it's going to be nice and loose, so that way that you can put your hook through it later on whenever we go into the other stitches. So I continue this about 15 times just to create a nice sample size. If you notice something you don't like, just pull on the yarn to take out that loop and then put your crochet hook back in and continue crocheting. This is called frogging. Alright, now let's look at single crochet. So for this, we need to first turn our work so we can build upon what we've already created. So how we're going to do this is we are going to slip stitch one more, or chain 1, and then we are going to go into not the loop we just created, but the loop right after it. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into that loop. You're going to see there's 2 pieces on my crochet hook, and then we're going to pull through one of those loops, and then we're going to yarn over again, and then we're going to pull through both of those loops. And there you go, you've officially made your first single crochet. Yay! So just keep practicing this. If you need to pause the video and go back and do it over multiple times, that's perfectly okay. The point is to practice. You're not going to get it on the first try, but it's okay because practice makes perfect, and you'll end up busting out sweaters sooner or later. So if you're following along with me on my sample size, I'm just going to single crochet all the way across 15 crochets. Once we get to this final stitch, we're going to single crochet into it like we were doing previously and finish off our row. So to go on to the next row, we are going to just turn our work like a book, and then we are going to chain 1 for single crochet. Looking at what we've created so far, you can see these little heart-shaped stitches being created. We're going to look at that in a little bit. So first we're going to chain 1, and this will help us give room to our stitch so that they don't get too compressed. So the only difference about this single crochet from the other one we did is that whenever we go to insert our hook into the project, we're going to go under and into these 2 pieces right here. So under that heart shape that we were looking at earlier. So where my finger's at right now is the first hole where you want to stab your needle through. You're going to see me goof right here, and I'm going to go into this second hole by accident instead. This is going to make you lose a stitch, so do not do that. Always go into the first hole and not the second hole. It's a very common mistake. I don't know how I messed this up when I've done it a million times, but it's whatever. Anyways, let's go into our next size up, half double crochet. So for this, we're going to turn our work like we did before, and we're going to chain 2 to give us a little bit of extra space. I'm not entirely sure which one people commonly do. I like to do chain 2 just so it gives it a little extra breathing room. For the half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch, and then you're going to yarn over again, and you'll have these 3 stitches. And so you're just going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those stitches. And that's the half double crochet. So just one more time, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, have the 3 stitches, yarn over, and then pull all the way through all 3. There you go, half double crochet. Alright, so our final stitch we're going to be looking at is a double crochet. So that one's very similar, where we're going to chain 2, we're going to yarn over and pull through our work, so we'll have the 3 stitches, just like you do on the half double crochet. But instead of going through all 3, we're going to go through only 2 and then yarn over and finish off the last 2. So doing it one more time, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2 loops, and then go through the last 2 loops. And that's how you do a double crochet. So here's an overview of what the stitches look like. I have 1 row of single crochet, 1 row of half double crochet, and then I have 2 rows of double crochet on top. But yeah, that's what they look like. Now, what projects can we make with it? Take it away, Ellie.
All right, so those are the 3 main stitches that you need to know for your first crochet pattern. Now, so what can we do with these, you know? Now that we know those simple things, all we can make is a scarf. No. So there are actually a whole bunch of different ways that you can get really creative with crochet and, you know, do things that are not just a simple scarf or a simple sweater. Whatever you make, definitely try to start on the smaller side. For me, I noticed that whenever I was trying to make a scarf, even though it was relatively easy, I was still having a lot of trouble in mastering the turns and stuff like that. And so I actually started with a crochet plush dinosaur. It'll be pictured right here. And that's how I realized that I really enjoyed it and I really loved doing crochet. It's because I was having small little victories throughout that little bit of a bigger project. So some ideas that you could have for a crochet project is you could do a crocheted hat, or a granny square hat. Granny squares are definitely a great thing to learn overall. Granny squares are really great for like mastering crochet since they're small little pieces, but then you can end up piecing them all together to make bigger pieces such as sweaters, hats, purses. It literally, the options are limitless whenever it comes to granny squares. So definitely look those up, and I'll have some patterns linked down below and some tutorials linked down below if you're interested in learning more about granny squares. There is one thing that I did not mention in this video, which is the magic loop. There are ways to get around it, but it is a really good trick to learn, and I'll have a little tutorial down below. Some other fun inspiration that you might want to try out is a leaf cable tie. Those are a cute way to try all the stitches that you learned today, but it's something really small, so it's easy to not get discouraged because of how big a project is. Also, going on the same leaf thing, you could do a crocheted cable ivy for your phone cords. Bookmarks are definitely great. Also, bandanas are really great. Now, those usually do have a magic circle in it, so I'll just let y'all know ahead of time. That is something you'll have to kind of look into, but bandanas are a super cute way to have a fun project and practice doing stitches as well. Overall, there's a multitude of things you can do. You can even do stuffed animals, you can do purses. The world is limitless whenever it comes to the different things you can make with crochet. I hope that helps. I hope that was at least a little bit inspiring too of finding fun projects. Please let me know what projects you're thinking about working on, or if this video was helpful. And if you want to support me, please like and please subscribe. That just helps me know who's interested and let me know how I'm doing. But overall, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh my gosh. She's starting a YouTube channel.